everyone, my name is Lucy. I'm a Jack Russell Terrier, and today I'm going to show you how I draw a manga page. Hi everyone, my name is Annie, and this is Jack. He's a grumpy goose. He's always complaining. He wants to stay on my lap, and then he wants to get down. And every now there is Lucy here too. They get jealous. But anyway, I am back with the second part of my video. Finally, I made it. And in this part of the video, I'm going to show how I use my lighting box to transfer the sketch page on the nice paper, and then inking with Japanese pen nibs, because I still do it by hand. So this is the result, and as you can see here is empty because there is going to be a third part of this series, they say like that, where I'm going to use a photographs and work with Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint to basically finish the page. But this is going to be in the third video. Anyway, stay with me, take a look. If nobody knows who I am, I'm the creator of Legends of the West, which is my graphic novel that I'm working on, and I post a page every Thursday on my website, one.comics.com, and yes, I have even a blog where I talk about art supplies and how to create a comic book. But I'll leave all the links below, and stay with me for this part of the video. Okay, so this one is the final layout for Legends of the West, page 102 for chapter 4, and I'm squaring the page for the panels, creating the panels basically, and right now I'm drawing my bleeding lines, which are 18 by 27 centimeter. I use a centimeter because I'm obviously Italian. I'm a European. In Europe we use the metric system, and I'm sorry Americans, but I can't understand your system. But here I put the conversions with the inches, so it might can help. And yeah, I can't understand inches, feet, gallons, whatever. It's too complicated, this system. I prefer my metric system. It's way easier, it's very precise, and I grew up and I know it. So okay, let's leave alone math, and which I don't like it, I really hate it. But basically, before you actually drawing your final layout, it's very important to draw your panels and the bleeding lines. Basically, the bleeding lines, for people that doesn't know what they are those lines that basically enclose your drawing, your main drawing. So anything that goes out from these bleeding lines, there is a risk that can get cut off in case you do a print version of your comic, or even well, if you do it digitally, you can modify the page, you can change the size, but you wanna be careful, don't go too much over those bleeding lines, because really it cannot get messed up your paper, and you never know, maybe you decide to do a print version, and in my some main part of your drawing can cut off, maybe like the head of a character or a foot, and maybe part of the speech balloon, so it might look ugly. So it's better keep inside everything, the major drawing, the major part of your drawing, uh, in these bleeding lines. Then you can always go over, especially when you do all over a page, but most of the time you draw basically part of landscape or maybe buildings or something that is not really important, that even if get cut out, it doesn't matter too much, it doesn't ruin your drawing, it doesn't mess it up. Anyway, um the paper that I'm using, it's made specific for comic book. It's a buy on Amazon, and I can't remember the brand, but I think, I'm not sure, it comes from Copic.com. I mean, Copic is the brand of Copic markers, but they have a website, and Copic actually sells products for drawings like comic books, papers, markers, graphic pens, and other art supplies. And I think their brand actually is Too. It's spelled Too. Is a Japanese brand, and the Copics are the markers. But their website is Copic.com, and they sell those type of paper. But Amazon sell it as well, obviously. What Amazon doesn't sell? And I always bought it on Amazon because I have a Prime, so I don't pay shipping, and Amazon usually has better price, and it is not too expensive. So, but you want to buy specific uh, paper for comic books, for drawing comic books, because old well the ink, and even if you draw your comic with markers, it always hold much better markers and ink, so it doesn't spread and doesn't leave nasty or uneven lines. Okay, this is my lighting box. It's old, but I got it for free. It was a gift from my brother-in-law, and he got it from a photographer, and that's a few years old, but it works perfectly. And right now, if you want to buy a lighting box, they make a little smaller or maybe a little thinner, like, and they are not too heavy. This is kind of heavy, but for me, for the things that I have to do, it works fine. So basically, what I'm the next step after you draw the panels on your page, so your page is ready to draw the final layout. So you put the sketch paper on your lighting box, and then, as you can see, you turn on your lighting box, and then you put your paper that you prepared before, and you put some tape on both pages, on both the sketch and the nice paper. You put the white tape that you use for drawing or for any other stuff. The white tape that they sell it everywhere. They sell at Dollar General, they sell it at Walmart. It's the little white kind of tape, and it doesn't have so much glue like the regular tape. So when you take it off, it doesn't rip off your paper. So this is perfect for artists, for drawing and stuff, even for masking. Back in the days, we used to mask the paper, and that's the tape we used to use. Anyway, once you're ready, you set, and you start basically to drawing your comic page, and you go over your lines, and you're just going around. Obviously, I'm talking for people that they are beginners or they want to start and they don't have any idea how to make a comic book or a manga. They never did it before, and so I'm talking for this type of people, because not everybody knows about lighting box, comic papers, and how actually start and doing it. What's the process? So this is what I do if you draw it by hand, and pretty much almost every artist, if you draw by hand, they do the sketch, and then they do the final layout, and then they use a lighting box to finish to do the layout. So this is the kind of process. Then everybody can do a little bit different. Like I said, there's no real recipe for drawing to make a comic book, but there are some process that you might want to follow. And honestly, what it works for me, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. So every artist find their own way, the way that works for himself, you know. I saw many other artists drawing comic books, and a lot of them have different ways, and they do a little bit different from each other, because you find your style, your way that you want to do it, how that works for you. And even the tools, you know, like I'm using this cheap mechanical pencil, because I don't want to stop every 2 seconds and sharpen the pencil, and the mechanical pencil is very thin, and I like that because I really draw small. So it works perfectly for me, and it's cheap. It's not anything fancy. But some people maybe has more professional pencil. Or some people use the regular pencil and they don't mind to stop and sharpen every 2 seconds. You know, it's really it depends. Like I said, there is not a true recipe that you have to follow each single step, otherwise you're gonna messing up everything. So you kind of find your way, and you have to experiment what works with for you, and then you learn. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of time to dedicate it. Drawing a comic book is not easy. It's not just drawing pretty girls and pretty boy and kisses scene. You know, it's a lot of work. First of all, you have to think about the story, creating the characters, and develop the story, and it takes time. It's not things that is gonna happen uh, in a week or in a month or even a year. For example, my story, if you watch video, the video that I made before, I was talking about my comic book, how I came out with the story, with the idea, and I started when I was really young, when I was about 12, 13 years old. So it was a long obviously, not everybody it takes so long like me, but it's a long process. Writing a story, it doesn't matter if you write a comic book or a novel or a movie. It takes time, it takes a lot of work, research, and study. And if you want to do it, if you want to do a good job, and if you want to really make your story that eventually one day is gonna get published, or you're gonna publish it, self-publish, so it's a lot of work. It's not just drawing pretty characters. And so a lot of people think, because, oh, those are comics. Comics, unfortunately, they don't get to consider it too much seriously, because they are mainly for kids. They used to, at least, for kids. But not every comic book or graphic novel manga is for children. Actually, there is a wide range of audience. Some, like manga, for example, there are for the girls. There are more for girls. There are more for some. There are more for boys. Some are more for sci-fi pub audience. Horror or adventures, drama, comedy. I mean, and some that are more touch more adults. Let's say adult topics that are not adapted for kids. So there is a wide range, but unfortunately, especially in the Western culture, uh, it's still considered for a product for kids. And sometimes this art, sometimes, actually quite often, get diminished, because, oh, those are for kids and you drawing kids stuff. No. Well, some people does draw comic book for kids, but not all of that. And even if it's for kids, it doesn't mean that has to be diminished. I mean, some comic books and even cartoons, they were part of culture, of our culture, like, for example, the Peanuts, Snoopy, Charlie Brown. Yes, it was kids, but it was a great cartoon and a great art. Schultz, it was a great artist, and he create an icon. So Disney, uh, and Hanna-Barbera, if you remember the Looney Tunes. I mean, I grew up watching them, but even adults used to watch those cartoons, and they create an icon for our time. I mean, even the superheroes, like, uh, unfortunately, uh, Stan Lee passed away, but he created an icon, and honestly, Hollywood is making money on Stan Lee idea. So, and those are adults, the actors, they're not kids, and obviously, not only children watching this movie, there are adults, and unfortunately, still, some a lot people consider comic, especially now, the Japanese comics, the manga, are considered even worse than Western comic books, because some of the manga, they are not really great, they are very, they but Japanese culture is very different from our culture, so they don't have so many taboos like we do, and they just create what works for them, and then obviously they get export in our market, and we watch it, and some people like it, some people don't. And so it's depend what you like, what you but there are some anime and manga that are very good, and some that are they suck like everything else, like movies. Some movies are very good and other they suck. So, But unfortunately, it's always been like that for comic books. They are not considered appropriately. They don't get the credit they deserve. Let's say like that, because there is a lot of work behind the creation of a comic book, and most of the people doesn't think that it's just a drawing. And unfortunately, when you drawing, people doesn't care too much. I mean, they appreciate it, they like it. I mean, at least from my experience, but I heard the other people that had my same experience. When they know, once they know that you know how to draw, oh my gosh, it's a pain on a butt. For real, because the amount of requests that I mean, it's absurd. I mean, you can leave in your on the comments if you have any experience. I'll tell you a few of my experience. Well, besides asking me, and obviously never pay for free, because oh, you know how to draw, you have a talent, but it doesn't need that. It doesn't mean I have to pay you, of course, because it's just a drawing. But you want a portrait of yourself, uh, for free. First of all, I hate portrait. It's a things that I don't like to do. It doesn't mean that I cannot do it, but I don't like to do it. And just because I know to draw, it doesn't mean that I love to draw everything. And I mean, my one of I used to work in a flower shop as a floral designer, and there is this older lady, and she's very nice. And now she's one. She lives like a block from where I live, and she did me so many favors. But oh my gosh, she asked me. She found out that I know how to draw and everything. But she asked me to draw her landscaping, her house landscaping, the yard, the garden. She said, "No, sorry, I laugh, but I mean, I said, well, listen, you should do hiring somebody, because I never draw landscaping for a yard. I mean, she wanted me that I was planning her yard, like she wanted, like I was drawing the driveway in a certain way, and then the trees and the bushes and the flowers that I thought that would work in her yard, with background her house. Let's see, listen, I'm sorry, but I never did that. I'm not landscapers, I've no idea. So I didn't do it, because that was, first of all, a hell of a work for free, and second, I never, seriously, I never did that, and I'm not a landscaper. I don't know, but then, well, I did a portrait for, I draw my friend dog that passed away, but she's super nice, and I did it for free. I painted on a canvas and everything. Actually came out pretty good, and she didn't pay me, obviously, but sometimes she watched my dogs, be a dog sitter for me, and that's fine. It was for a little gift for her that her dog passed away. But yeah, I mean, another thing's funny. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of depressing at the same time. Okay, there was this guy. He's a redneck. Let's say you straight it. But he's really he's a he's a kind old man, but he's a redneck. And okay, my mother-in-law, now she moved to Texas. Thanks God. Anyway, she when she was living here, she was working in the liquor store in town, and her coworker, this redneck, uh, she was going around to tell everyone that, oh, I'm such a amazing artist, blah blah blah, and I don't like that, but it's okay. She So this guy asked to my mother-in-law if I could paint his license plate of his old truck. He had this old truck and he has this old rust license plate that he wanted that was restored basically. And he paid me $20. And I did it because I felt like it was my mother-in-law asking for this guy that she knew that worked together, so I kind of felt obligated, and I did it. And I went to Lowe's, obviously, because you don't buy, you don't paint uh, with let's say, fine art supply a license plate. So I had to go to Lowe's, buy the paint for the license plate, something that wasn't get ruined by the time with the weather, the cold and the heat and the rain. And so I had to get this. He paid me $20, and wow. And then he was super happy. Okay. And then I met this guy again at the grocery store, and it was last year, after many years. My mother-in-law moved 4 years ago in Texas, so then this guy, I think he retired, I don't know. Never saw him again. And last year I met him at the grocery store, and I said, oh hey, how's it going? Same old bullshit when you met somebody for a long time that you didn't see for a long time. So you start to ask me that he had this gas stove that he took it out from his junkyard, I guess, because everybody around here has some junk. Anyway, and he basically he started to tell me, are you still drawing? I say yes. Well, I have this gas stove, a gas heater. I don't know what portable gas heater, but it was from the 60s or something like that. He told me, it's very old, but it's antique, and obviously everything is antique, even if it's a piece of junk that you can throw away. And there is a bunch of rust. And do you think that you know how to paint? I say, look, you might want to go to Lowe's and ask to somebody there what kind of paint you can use for this kind of thing, because with the heat, you want some kind of paint that is resistant to the heat or something. And it's not really a thing that I know, because I draw on paper, not on gas stoves. I mean, seriously, people, please, when you know somebody that is an artist, that is drawing, or is a photographer, or wherever, please be considering. Consider that it's is a person, and it is not a handyman that can draw anything, it can do anything. I mean, even my mother-in-law sometimes it was really pissed me off, because they she was fine maybe from these junkyards, old piece of furniture. Sometimes she took a bunch of old windows that somebody threw away, left on the street, and she brought me to me and said, oh, look what I found, maybe you can paint something with this window. What am I gonna do with the old windows that somebody threw away? what I'm going to paint over? I mean, seriously, people. I mean, the crazy stop. I mean, seriously, when a person is drawing, it doesn't mean they can draw on any surface that you find, on any material, and I mean, it's crazy. The request, at least what I got, and still probably do it, but now I got very strict. If somebody asks me, I say, oh yeah, we can talk about, I'll let you know my rate. Oh, you charge me? Oh yeah, I charge you. Well, nothing's free in this world. It's a profession, and now basically, I think I'm going to do business cards. You know why? Because when you hand to someone a business card in the hand, they take it more seriously. They think, oh, she has a business card. Oh, that means she has a job. She works for real. I mean, it's a profession. There is the kind of mentality. So I want to see if it works. So I will do some business card and keep it in my wallet. And when somebody asks me something, I say, yeah, this is my business card. And call me and we can talk about pricing. I bet nobody's gonna ask me anything anymore. At least people that's not serious, like painting on a gas stove. I mean, seriously, people. And I don't say that this guy, this man, is an older man. Like I said, he's a redneck, but he's a nice person and everything. It's just that they don't have any clue what the hell is mean be an artist and drawing, especially a comic book, honestly. So, and even when I have a graphic designer background. It just yes, they ask you logo, and now with Fiverr and Upwork, all these stupid website freelancing website that they do it for $5 or $20, so they expected that you do it for that money. Well, if you want a $5 logo, well, you draw it yourself, because I'm not wasting my time for $5. It's not gonna make me, I don't say, rich, you know. It's not gonna solve my financial problems, and I'm just gonna waste my time when I can put my time into my comic book, my website, my blog, and my YouTube videos. I mean, seriously, $5. I mean, for people that lives in some countries, $5 you can go long way, but in the Western country like Europe or United States and Canada or Australia or whatever, $5, $5 is a Starbucks coffee. For real. I mean, anyway, that's my fussing about people that ask me to draw impossible things. And so here I'm drawing, I start to ink, and I can tell you a little bit about inking. Uh, so this one that I'm using right now is called School Nib, and this one is the easiest nib to use. If you're a beginner and you want to start to draw to inking with pen nibs, I would suggest start to use the School Nib, because the nib is not too flexible and it's not too hard, so it's a kind of on a midway, and you can really draw a different range of lines, from a little bit thicker to thinner lines, and it's you can really use for landscaping, um, do clothing, shadows, uh, little details too. Not too little, not too small details. I would suggest to use the Mario pen for that, but in general, the school nib, it's very, you can use it to draw, to for inking anything basically, and it's very easy. So it's, if you're a beginner, start to use the school nib, and I like the school nib because uh, my dogs start to make noise. Yeah, so you can draw a lot of things with that. Like as you can see, I can draw the wolf fur, the ears, so I can really go in the small details for this. And there are different types of pen nibs, and all of them have a specific purpose, and they are specifically designed for certain, for drawing certain type of lines. And I talked about it in one of my previous videos, that I'm going more in the details for all these pen nibs. But um, using drawing with pen nibs is not too bad. Some people got kind of torn off about it. They think it's very difficult and it takes time. But once you get used to it, it's not too bad at all. And actually, they're quite easy to use. And the lines that pen nibs give you, they are kind of unique. Um, to me, really prefer use them the graphic pens, because even if nowadays they do some graphic pens that resemble a brush, so the lines is a little bit more softer, and it's not just a graphic straight line. I still prefer the pen nibs because, like I said, they give you unique lines that no Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint can give you, or any other graphic pens can give you. And the result is very natural, and it give your illustration gets so dynamic, because when you use the pen nibs, you put some pressure on your hand, and the pressure goes down to the nib. So more pressure you put, your lines get thicker. Less pressure you put on your hand, your lines get thinner. So or from one single line, it can start thicker and they go down thinner, or vice versa. And that's a thing that a software, it might get close, but not as much like the real pen nibs. And I watch different videos on YouTube of mangaka, professional mangakas from Japan, and a lot of them, they still use uh, the pen nibs. They still use paper and ink, and then they they use for edit and everything, for the finish, uh, for finish up the product or the page, whatever. They use Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint or other software. Uh, this one is the Maru pen. The Maru pen is the smallest of the Japanese pen nibs, and it's quite hard. It's not too hard. It's a little bit flexible, and It's specifically designed for drawing small lines, very thin lines, and it's perfect for like right now I'm drawing the wolf face and I'm doing some shadowing, and for this type of work, for these type of lines, the Maru pen it's perfect because it's so thin and you can really go into, as you can see, the eye and nose and do some shadowing. Even for the face of Sally, it's so small, so the nose very small and the mouth and everything, so this is perfect. So you can really go and draw very thin and small lines. And like I was saying before, that a lot of mangaka still do it in this way. I think probably because it give you the nibs, give you a different type, a more natural effect drawing style. Sometimes uh, digital drawing is a little bit too artificial. I don't say all of them because some artists they really do great things, but sometimes they result a little bit too artificial to me. And I don't know. I enjoy inking by hand. I don't know. Maybe one day I will change idea. We do it with the computer and everything. But so far, I like to. I think I have more control, and I don't mind doing it. It really doesn't take too long. Once you get used to it and you practice, and it's just like any other anything else. And a few years ago, I was reading this article about Rimiko Takahashi. She is the author of Legends of the West. What I'm saying, Legends of the West. She's the author of Inuyasha and Ramen Alf and so many other manga. Maison Ikoku, Lam. She made it so many. She started really young. She went to university when she was, I think, 18 or something like that, to become a mangaka in Japan. And she is one of the richest woman mangaka in Japan and more successful. I mean, she won so many awards too. And anyway, in this interview, she was saying that basically she doesn't even have a computer, and I find it so weird because I figure Japan, everything is so technology, everything so. I mean, they make it robots, human robots, and stuff, and so and she doesn't even have a computer. I don't know if she bought it now. By now, this interview was a few years old, so she might change idea. But obviously, she has assistants because in Japan, mangakas they need assistants. I mean, the work they do is very stressful and it's a lot of work, and the demand, the timelines are crazy, so they need help. And obviously, she had her studio with helpers, assistants, and but she doesn't have a computer, and she was doing everything by hand. So it was pretty interesting uh, to see how. I saw it wasn't a documentary. It was just an interview with some pictures, and I saw her studio and everything. It was quite nice. But yeah, and I saw many others, and they still do it by hand. So not all of them left paper and ink for softwares. So some they do it just with software, but a lot of them they still do it on the old way. I think it's always better experiment, uh, try new techniques, and see what's the best result, and don't be afraid to try new things and see what it works for you. I mean, if you're a beginner and you really want to make comics, or you wanna really start drawing seriously, I always say do it first by hand. Learn to draw by hand and learn to draw pretty much everything. I mean, I don't say that you need to learn how to paint gas stove or all windows, but I'm talking about drawing different type of things like natural elements or objects, streets, buildings, houses, not landscaping, but trees. Learn how to draw a diverse subjects, animals. Most of the times, I see in comic books the animals that are left behind, like no one cares. Oh yeah, here's the animal, here's the old horse, but who cares? It doesn't look too great. Now, learn how to draw everything good by hand. Then, when you practice, when you're done to practice and you know what you're doing, then start to use the computer, the iPad, whatever software you use, because you want to learn the basics. If you want to do it seriously, if you want to really learn how to draw, learn the basics, learn the how to draw from real objects, like sitting down on a chair and in front of you you put the classic apples in a basket with the bananas and whatever or other objects. And this is not because it's an old school, but because you learn the shapes, the shadows, where the lighting hits the object, where to shadows, and how to shade. Because in a comic book, you need to know how to shade, or you need to know to understand where the light hits an object, where the shadow fall, and the perspective. Very important. The perspective it give you a depth in your drawing, so it makes things looks more natural and more realistic. So those things are basics stuff, but if you want to really do it seriously, if you want to really become a good artist, well, those are things that you need to know how to do it, and it takes time. And maybe you get discouraged at first, and maybe your drawing looks ugly, but hey, everybody start from somewhere. None of my drawing when I start will look great. I mean, if you see the first pages that I draw for this comic book, oh my gosh, they were horrible. But with the time, with practice and buying books and watching other artists, I learned. I don't say that I'm super great, but you know, you improve. Times if you do it seriously, if you really practice, times helps a lot. And older you get, better you become. Your hand somehow, when you get older, mature, and your drawing gets better. When you obviously when your drawing is gonna look different from when you are 15 to when you're 20. um, from 15 years old, when you draw, maybe it doesn't look too great, but in a couple years, it's already improved. And then it's going to improve again, and then it's going to get better and better and better till you get the level that you want. It doesn't mean that you have to become the best ever artist, a professional level, but depend what kind of level you want to reach. And obviously drawing people somehow has an in the blood, in their skin. It's a nature. It's like some people is great mathematicians. Some people are great in English, in grammar. Some people have a talent for writing. Other people can play instrument. Other they can't. Some people have a beautiful voice and they're great singers. Other they're not. And so it's kind of talent. But this talent, this nature that you have to cultivate it. You have to work on, and then it's gonna give you some results if you want to take it seriously. And then one day, when somebody's gonna ask you to draw, to paint an old stove or some rusty windows, you're gonna end up give your business card, and then you're gonna charge, or you're gonna say, nah, thanks, you do it by yourself. No more jokes. No more drawing for free or painting for free. So it's like for everything, it takes practice, it takes time, and it takes dedication. It takes a lot of dedication. I mean, when I start to draw comics, honestly, when I started drawing this story, I didn't even have any idea how to make a comic book. I didn't even have in my mind to make a comic book. And then it came out, this idea, and this story evolved with the time. And in the last past few years, I got more serious about it. And I really start to dedicate time to this story. And I don't say that my story is gonna make it or it's gonna get published or somebody's gonna like it. I don't know. But it's a things I have and I wanna try, and what I got to lose? Nothing. I don't have nothing to lose. But if I keep it in my drawer at home and nobody's gonna see it, I will never know. And then one day I'm gonna regret it, and I don't want to have these kind of regrets. And maybe it's gonna suck, maybe it's not gonna make any money, probably won't, but who cares? I try. But I always want to be an artist. I started when I was really little, just drawing anything, and I enjoy it. I'm happy when I'm drawing, especially when I'm drawing this story. And it distracts me a lot from all my other problems from life. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to go in college for art. I mean, this depends what do you want to do, but college here in America are super expensive, and people end up in really in with debt big debts. And if you don't make enough money, then it's hard to pay back. I mean, I heard some people, Jesus, they have $100,000 in debt, gosh, for going to school. I mean, in Europe it doesn't happen in Europe. I mean, you go to college, university, but you don't, it's not that expensive. Even I went to community college here, and thank God I had financial aid. And because if I had to pay from out of pocket even for community college, forget about it. But like, the textbooks are insane. I mean, I had to take an accounting class just for finish to get to graduate it, and the textbooks was $500. $500, and then it worth nothing after the semester because what they do, the new edition, so you can't even resell it for a good price. I mean, just to try to get some money back because, oh, there is the new edition. The new edition, basically, they switch chapters. So chapter 1 maybe became chapter 2, and chapter 1 became chapter 3, something like that, you know. Or maybe they add some more pictures or different photographs, or something like that. It doesn't change that much. It's a rip-off, really. And then when you sell it back to the college, because the college buy back the textbook, what, they give you $10. But are you serious? This book was $500 for some kind of reason. I think the paper made with gold and diamonds. I mean, this is insane. I mean, if you go to Europe, textbook probably was that $20, $30. I mean, are you insane? And when I went to school in graphic advertising school back in Milan, it was a private school, and my parents didn't end up in with $1,000 in debt. And I'll tell you, we are not rich. I mean, my family was normal. No Ferraris in the garage, just regular cars. I mean, we were a normal family, and they were able to send me in a private school. I mean, it wasn't a fancy private school, but still was a private school. And I mean, I can't imagine here in US. I mean, they really try to struggle these kids and this family. It's not fair. I mean, education should be allowed for everyone. And if you want to pursue college, fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine either. Everybody has to do what they feel like it. But uh, this is a rip-off, honestly. $500 for one class, for one semester. That for things that I'm not even gonna do ever. I mean, it was just a class that you had to take for graduating. So I had to take this basic accounting class, which is fine. I learned something, but oh gosh, accounting is very boring. But anyway, yeah, $500. Let's say, are you serious? And this book, it was giant. It was heavy. Oh my god, no. I mean, and but all of them, they were so expensive. I think the cheapest one, it was like $200, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much they charge. Somebody's making money, and they are not the students. For real. So hopefully in the future, United States is gonna open their eyes and figure out something and start to work on this education system. That it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, I mean, I was surprised. Like I said, if it wasn't for financial aid that I had, they really helped me. No, I couldn't do it myself. And I was working full time, so I was going to college part time. So it took me twice as much time to graduating. But the price, I can't imagine if you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, because it takes years and a lot to study. I can't imagine their textbooks. How much do they cost? Oh, that's why they end up with $100,000 in debt when they graduate. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. It takes all your life you pay debts. But anyway, uh, what I was saying, my dog distracted me. Uh, so here, keeping going to use the Maru pen, and as you can see, it's really good for doing little shadowing and cross hatching. Now I used to use screen tones, and I used to for from chapter 1 till chapter 3 I used to apply screen tones manually. Gosh, that was the work. And but obviously I have the newer version of Photoshop. I got Adobe Suite. I have Illustrator and Photoshop, and I pay my monthly fee. Yeah, but I need it. So what you can do, because I used to have Photoshop C5. I don't remember. It was the old version, and when I upgrade my Mac with the new Mojave or Mojave, whatever you say, and my older Photoshop didn't work anymore with the newer version of Mojave. So I had to basically decide, do I need Photoshop? Yes. Well, I need to pay my monthly fee like everybody else does and get the Adobe Suite. I just got Photoshop is $10 a month, and Illustrator is $22 a month, because obviously they charge you taxes too. And yes, so I don't have the old everything, all the apps, because that's about 50 something a month, and honestly I want to use all of them, so it's kind of waste for me, but it adds up. It's a lot of money. On the other end, they upgrade all the time, and you receive notification when the upgrade is available, and you just do a click upgrade and your Photoshop and Illustrator, your app is upgraded, so you don't have to worry about buy a the new version or upgrade the new version. So for that it's better, but still, I mean, at the end it's $30 a month just for that. I'm glad that Clip Studio is cheap, and you don't have a monthly fee. You buy one time and that's it, and you get notification to upgrade. Um, and I bought it. So when I bought my pen tablet, Wacom Intuos for comic, each Wacom Intuos has a software. It depends which version you buy. There is the one for photography, there is the other one for 3D animation, and then there is another one for digital paint, and then there is this one for comics. And then there is another one for drawings. So each pen tablet, basically the pen tablet, the Intuos, it's about, they're all the same. Maybe they change some little features, but pretty much are the same. But it comes with a different software. So if you choose, like me, the comic pen tablet, it's mean that comes for free. The software Clip Studio Paint. So you buy the tablet, but you get the software for free. So it's a good deal. Obviously, I bought on Amazon. 2 years ago, I spent about less than $100 because it was around Christmas time, so there were some kind of deals. But it's not that expensive. It's about $100, 100 something right now. I'm not sure how much it's sell, but it's not crazy expensive. Now the Pro version, the Intro Pro, Wacom Pro, it's um, it's more expensive, but has all the software that all these other tablets has. So that you have the photography one, the drawing, the comic, the 3D, and all of them. But I talk about on my blog. I wrote down about on my blog post, and I talk about all the Intuos Wacom tablets version, and I describe all of them, and talk about their features, even what colors they come, because they have different colors. And yeah, and I wrote down the price too. The price are about from Amazon, but this post is few months old, so the price changes all the time. So, but yeah, if you want, you're welcome to read it and check it out. Maybe you find something that works out for you. Now the Pro, like I said, is the most expensive, but anyway, it's not too bad, and it's worth it. I really like it. And I know now there is the iPad, and but I can't tell you anything about that, because if you think every time something new come out, and I can't keep up with everything, so I'm happy with my tablet. For the things I'm doing, it works fine, and like I said, it comes with with the free software, so to me it's a good deal. And basically, you download the software, the Clip Studio Paint, and Anime Studio too. They give you Anime Studio, and I never use it, but it's another software that's nice. And you get your license key, and then every time there is an upgrade, uh, you just go on Clip Studio website and you download the upgrade, and it's automatic. So you don't have to do anything special. So it's good. And like I said, I use Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint, both of them, for different reasons. Uh, with Photoshop, I'm more familiar because it's many years I'm using it, and I do it even for graphic design purpose, like creating logos and other stuff, and my t-shirts design. And Clip Studio, I like for other certain things, and definitely I like the balloon speech that Clip Studio has, and you can modify the balloon speech. While on Photoshop, you have to create it from scratch, basically the balloon speech. So I mean, both of them, they are great for different reasons, and I will show you on my next video what how I use these two software. And obviously there are some people that are super expert and they know much better than me, both Photoshop and Clip Studio. But for the things I have to do, for the things I'm doing, the way that I do it works for me. Like I said, always found, always find the things that works best for you, not for everybody else. Anyway, I'm about done here with the inking. and I did some shadow. I even use regular brushes, the old way, to give more darker shadows. And this is basically that's it. It's complete. uh, then I have to scan it and work with my two software, like I said. And now some people don't erase the illustration. I do. And it's not super great doing it because the ink kind of fade a little bit when you go over with the eraser. But I really hate to see on my screen when I zoom in all these pencil lines. They distract me. And now I'm even erasing the panels because I'm not sure. Before I started to draw the page with the classic panels, but then I decided to maybe just do some effect like cross etching or some rakes, some using some type of brushes. And let's see when I decide on my next video what to do. So now I'm cleaning up my paper with my bird feather, very useful, and it's done. Okay, so I can't wait to do the next video and show it what I'm doing with Photoshop and Clip Studio. Thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I'm coming back soon with the third part of this series. And leave a comment, subscribe, like, and don't forget to check my website, one.comics.com, and you're welcome to subscribe on my website as well. And I post a page of Legends of the West every Thursday on one.comics.com and even on Webtoons. Yeah, we are on Webtoon too. So I'll see you next time. Hopefully, I apologize if I'm not very constant with my videos, but I'm doing so many things that I still have to organize and figure out what day is best for me to post, and yes, get a little bit more organized with everything that's going on right now. But I promise I'm going to be back soon. I'm going to be back soon with my third video. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye.